Welcome, gun runner.
Hello everybody, Kieran aka The Laird here, and I'm back with another book review for you. And this is a continuation of a lot of the book reviews that I've been doing quite recently, because it's another one by Hardcore Gaming 101. And you may remember a while back I did a couple of different Konami videos, one on their unreleased consoles and one on the Konami Anniversary Collection compilation that they released. And I mentioned in a book review around that time, I can't remember which one exactly, that I had some Konami books to look at as well. That I was going to be looking at. Though I'm looking at these a little bit later than I expected to, because as those who follow my channel will know, I recently moved house, and it's been a while to get everything in order and get everything unpacked and find the books that I still had to review, etc. But I have everything up and going in my office now. My books are on my shelves and they look great. So getting back to a normal routine. And this is one of two Konami books I actually have. But I think it makes sense to look at this one first. The other one is a shoot 'em up book. But this one, as you'll see, is called Contra and Other Konami Classics. Now, what's interesting about this is that obviously the other books I looked at, like the Sega one um, and the Data East one, for example, um, those were, I think the Sega one is obviously called like Sega Arcade Classics. There's Volume 1 and there's Volume 2. And then there's Data East Arcade Classics, etc. I've got a Namco book as well and a Taito one along those same lines. Um, but this one doesn't go to be called Konami Arcade Classics, which is what you'd expect if you follow the name convention of the other books. For some reason, they have chosen to call it Contra and Other Konami Classics. I guess they're just trying to play on the fact that the Contra name is pretty big. But I found that quite strange, because obviously Konami have released so many good games, especially in the arcades. I did find the naming convention of this one a little bit weird, but it's still a great book, as we'll go on to find out. Very shiny cover there. It's a very sunny day, so sun reflecting off it. And I'll just show you the back cover. So obviously we've got like some stuff from like Penguin Adventure there and stuff. So it says featuring Contra, Mystical Ninja, Rocket Knight, Sunset Riders, Jackal, Bayou, Billy, and more. And I just knocked my camera stand, so apologies for that if it just moved slightly. It's literally right next to me, so it's very hard not to touch it there. Right, so we'll go back to we'll open at the beginning. So it was first printed, it says fourth printing, May 2019. So this book has been out a few years, but I think I said in a recent video I'd only become aware of all these Hardcore Gaming 101 books recently. And actually, I don't think they've all been on Amazon POD that long, because these are all print on demand books. So similar to my own, actually, similar kind of format, because I go for the glossy covers, same paper and everything, actually. So quite a similar format to the books I do myself. Once again, Kurt Kalata at the helm, and a lot of the other same writers and etc. They're different artists this time, because it says the artist is Rusty Shackles. So that's a different artist to most of the others that used Thorthor Valderson. Screenshots, artworks, and references of the place they've taken a lot of the art and stuff from. And it's funny, because one thing I got criticised for in some of my books was using art, box art stuff taken from websites. I got accused of stealing it, which is hilarious, because it's very commonplace, as you can see with Hardcore Gaming 101 doing it, and I always credit people where needed. So there we go. So there we go. Contra obviously starts the book off, because it has to, because of the name of the book. So I mean, there is an index. Sorry, I should have mentioned the index first. Obviously lists lots of stuff. We're going to look at that in due course, so I don't see any point in running down that very much. Obviously, Contra was an arcade game, but perhaps better known as an NES game in many ways. Got lots of sequels. Also was released on home computers here in the UK as Grisor, which a lot of people don't realise. And a lot of people know the Probotector name, which was the alternative Western name for it, but not a lot of people know the Grisor name. And actually, it shows a picture down there of a Grisor of a Contra coin up there as well with a woman on it, which is pretty cool. And then it shows down here some of the Grisor and Contra conversions and screenshots: arcade, NES, MSX2, etc. The Spectrum, mobile, arcade, Contra Evolution. There's 2 Contra arcades. So then it goes into the other Contra games like Super C. So there we go. Operation C, which is a really cool one for the Game Boy actually. I reviewed that in my own Game Boy book that I released recently because it's a really, really cool game. Okay, so I'll just move the camera slightly because I don't think I was getting the whole thing in shot because of the way I'm now moving the pages, so I wanted to make it a little bit easier to see, so hopefully I've just done that. Moving the camera is never easy when you've already started filming, so I apologise for the jump there. So we go through Contra 3, obviously Alien Wars on the SNES, the Game Boy versions, Game Boy Advance. So there we go. There's the different conversions of that one. Famicom bootleg. That's quite funny that exists. Contra Hard Corps, which is the Mega Drive game, Mega Drive exclusive, I believe. Go into a lot of Contra. There's Contra Adventure, Contra and Contra Adventure for PlayStation. So I think I only played any of the later ones, PS2. I've not played the PS1 or PS2 ones. I played quite a bit of the original Contra because I had the ZX Spectrum version, Grisor. So that's the version I'm most familiar with, to be honest. Contra 4, that's Nintendo DS. The Wii game. I'm surprised I don't have that, considering the amount of Wii stuff I do have. Hard Corps Uprising, I wasn't even aware of that game on Xbox 360 and PS3, I have to say. Mobile games and stuff, so a lot of the book is taken up by Contra, as you can see. So I suppose the title is kind of suitable in that regard. And here's some other art and stuff like that. It goes with the game. And then it goes into Russian Attack, aka Green Beret, as those of us in the UK knew it, especially because I had the Spectrum version, which was called Green Beret. Green Beret, I have a kind of love-hate relationship with it because I kind of like the game, but my god, it's just too hard. What's with the weird cropped screenshots where they crop them all into squares there? That's really strange. But yeah, it's such a difficult game, it's ridiculous. Because with the way they cropped it, like the Amstrad CPC and Atari 8-bit and BBC and that, you can't even really see the games properly because of how badly they've cropped those photos. It's really strange. And why have they missed the Spectrum version out? That's strange as well. You know, they put the Xbox 360 in there, which seems kind of pointless because it's just emulating the arcade, but not the Spectrum, which is probably one of the best known versions actually. Joffa Smith did it, I believe. A very, very good port. It's just too hard. Says Russian Attack Expatriate. Never even heard of that. So another new one on me. Modern sort of remix. There's Jailbreak, a game I remember very fondly from playing it at Butlins when I was a kid. But not a lot of people actually seem to remember Jailbreak. It seems to be quite obscure now. But I can remember seeing that all over the place when I was a kid, and then it just kind of vanished and everyone forgot about it. Very strange. The home ports of Jailbreak were awful though. My friend had the Spectrum one, and I remember being so excited to play it until I played it. It was crap. Dark Adventure and Trick Trap, not games I'm familiar with, I have to say. So this book should provide some stuff I don't know about actually. Surprise Attack that I don't know, that looks quite cool. Might have to play that one. Aliens, I'm surprised it didn't get more space because that's a really good game. Aliens is brilliant. Devastators, which is interesting because I didn't find out about this till recently, but it's basically, I love G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is a brilliant game, another game that should have been given more space in this book, to be honest. G.I. Joe is so good. But G.I. Joe almost seems to be a sequel to Devastators. It uses the same viewpoint and stuff. And it was only when I did a video, when I was looking at arcade exclusives and I covered G.I. Joe, and I said it was unique, that someone mentioned Devastators, which I never knew about. And I was really interested to find it was kind of almost like a prequel to that. But Devastators is a bit rough around the edges, where G.I. Joe kind of does what Devastators was trying to do, but properly, if you know what I mean. It's almost like a prototype for it. It's very interesting. Sunset Riders, which of course is an absolutely fantastic game. I absolutely love Sunset Riders. and I had the Mega Drive version. I bought it when it came out back in the day because I loved the game in the arcades. So I bought the Mega Drive version, loved it just as much. Cowboys of Moo Mesa. That's a pretty cool game. Very, very bizarre, but pretty good. Mystic Warriors, yeah. Was there a Mega Drive version of that? I might be getting mixed up. I like Mystic Warriors. Mystic Warriors is good. Rocket Knight Adventures. I'm not a massive fan of platform games. I know a lot of people love Rocket Knight Adventures and the sequel Sparkster. And there's Rocket Knight, the new one that they did. Jackal, another quite well-known one there. So that's a good game. I really like Jackal, actually. I think that's quite underrated. I really like the NES version. My friend had the NES version. I played quite a lot of that. Mystical Ninja. Genbei Goemon. Yep. So this Genbei Goemon, more Genbei Goemon games. Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Yeah. More of Genbei Goemon. There's all those ones. Skip ahead on those. I'm not so interested in that. And it goes on. It seems to go on forever, that section. Blimey. I'm not sure how popular those games are, but they don't appeal to me particularly. The Goonies. There's two Goonies games because there's the Konami one, which came out on MSX, NEC, PC-88, Nintendo NES. There's also the Datasoft one, which is different. Goonies 2. Datasoft one came out on like Commodore 64, Atari 8-bit, etc. Maze of Gallius, which is Nightmare 2. So why is that before Nightmare in the book? Don't know. It's very strange. Got Maze of Gallius there, but they've just called it Maze of Gallius, but it's actually Nightmare 2. Maze of Gallius, but that's strange that they've put that there, not Nightmare. But there we go. It's a very good game, even so. Shalom, not aware of that. But yeah, Nightmare 2 is great. Really like it. King's Valley 2. King's Valley 2. Getsu Fumaden. No idea. Never heard of that game. It's a bit Castlevania-ish in the screenshots. Konami YY World. Never heard of that one either. Interesting. YY World 2. I'm not familiar with those games at all, as I say. King Kong 2, which I believe was MSX2 game, yeah. Not played it, but it looks quite cool actually. Oh, King Kong 2, but weirdly it's like an RPG game, which you wouldn't expect at all. Almano no Kiseki. Never heard of that one at all. And then it just shows a bit of Rock and Rope down there. So, was it a sequel to Rock and Rope? Or to read that, but it seems like it might be some kind of sequel to Rock and Rope, interestingly. But they don't mention Rock and Rope properly, which is strange. I think they would follow that on from a look at Rock and Rope. Make You Jin Dababa. Probably pronounced that totally wrong, but never heard of it. There's a lot of Japanese only games in here then, isn't there? Bio Miracle Bokut Upa. Okay. Dragon Scroll. What's that? Esper Dream. Another game I'm not familiar with. Loads of weird stuff. Esper Dream. Lagrange Point. A lot of really obscure Japanese stuff. There's Antarctic Adventure. Absolute classic for the MSX, later converted to other stuff. And there's Penguin World, which is a sequel. We've got Penguin Monogatari there as well. They've got Penguin Adventure, which is the sequel. No, strange. Adventures of Baby Billy there, NES game. Buckethead, brilliant. Love Buckethead in the arcades, great. Use the engine from Turtles, of course. There's Buckethead, NES. In fact, Turtles are conspicuous by their absence, aren't they? Lone Ranger and Simpsons as well. Asterix, all those ones that use that same engine. Mission Impossible, the NES. Base Wars, another NES one. Roller Games. Monster in My Pocket and Zen Intergalactic Ninja. Totally different game on the NES to it is on the Game Boy, but they're both pretty good. Spy Special Project. Never heard of that, but it looks actually quite interesting. Makes me want to try that one out. It's an arcade game. Rock and Rage again. I've never tried that either. Interesting. And then soundtracks, testimonials. So, and then it's got some of the other stuff that's available. Konami Shooters, Castlevania. Just Castlevania. I've got quite a few of those other ones there. So this one's a really strange book, being Konami, Contra and other Konami classics, because there's so much stuff that's not there, and then loads of really, really obscure stuff, especially all the Japanese games. And it really seems strange to show what looks like a sequel to Rock and Rope and mention Rock and Rope, but don't show Rock and Rope, don't have a write up for it. And then the strangeness of not showing Penguin Event. Oh, it does. Oh, Penguin Adventure is down. I must have missed that out then. 133. I have to go back and look now. I must have somehow missed it. Oh, it's on the opposite page. I'd have to give it to Penguin Adventure. Oh, okay. I missed that. But still, it's strange because I mean, they put Bucky O'Hare in there, which uses the same hardware and engine that they used to create the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, but none of the others that use that engine. So there's no X-Men, there's no Simpsons, there's no Turtles or Turtles in Time, no Asterix. So they haven't put any of the others, just Bucky O'Hare, which I find quite strange. It does seem to be quite a bit that's missing. I know Konami published a lot of games, but it seems like they've gone a lot on the really obscure games in this book, whilst missing out other stuff that's I don't know, a bit more obvious in my opinion. There's loads of other MSX stuff that could have. Phoenix Saga would have been a nice one to see in this book, for example, maybe. But yeah, it's a strange book. It's still all right, but I don't think it's as good as the others, because I think the way they've formatted this book and the choices with the games and stuff um, is a little bit strange actually. But yeah, I mean it's still decent. I think if you're a Contra fan, probably that's the main selling point of this book. I'm not a huge Contra fan. I prefer the scrolling beat 'em ups and stuff that they did, and I don't think that book shows enough of them. I mean, I think a lot of people would be surprised to not see Turtles, X-Men, or Simpsons, especially. But there we go. It's all right. But yeah, it's available from Amazon worldwide. That's it, really. I hope you enjoyed my book review of Contra and other Konami classics. I've been the Laird. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all again for another video very soon. Bye bye.